But joining me right now, rather conveniently, is Claire Pearsall. She's a former Conservative government advisor. She worked in the Home Office in recent years. Now, it's really interesting that you worked in the Home Office. This leaked dossier, Andrew Gilligan at Policy Exchange, the right-wing think tank, well, centre-right, basically most people's views think tank. He uncovered this dossier. By this morning, we were told, no, Yvette Cooper has rejected all of these different plans. But the key thing is there are people working in the Home Office who think like this, right?
Yeah, and I think that's the real worry. Who wrote this? What job do they have and what influence do they hold over the policymakers? Because I find this really deeply concerning. And I think Yvette Cooper very conveniently saying, nothing to do with us, no, I reject it. Is that because of the backlash that it's got? Because if there wasn't the backlash, that would be in policy-making terms now.
As in, this is what we actually think. Yeah. And again, that ties back in with, everyone's a far-right thug who's on the streets. Not everybody who was on the streets post the Southport attack was a far-right thug. No. There were far-right thugs, but not everybody.
No, not everybody, and you can't tar everybody with the same brush. I think she put this report, she asked for the report to be put together because she wanted it to prove what she thinks, which it does.
But also, basically, police recording more non-crime hate incidents. That is what she actually thinks. Yeah. And again, I don't know how you can. And these are the people who, by the way, think that having extra rules on Amazon selling knives and having two-factor authentication for your ID. Well, that didn't stop Axel Rubicana getting a knife. A, he could have waited 9-10 days and bought it on his 18th birthday. B, he could have got one from the kitchen drawer at home. C, his parents signed for the knife. So they've already got that. They've already got that. I mean, it's just
it works.
I don't know, but my daughter gets stuff delivered. I don't go, what's in your package? Tell me what's in your package. Although I've got to be honest with you, if my kid had been caught with a knife on a bus and had threatened to go into school to commit a massacre and was obsessed with genocide videos, I think I probably would search their packages because that would be good parenting, right?
Well, it would. And the problem that we now have with non-crime hate incidents is that it's going to overwhelm the security services, it's going to overwhelm the police with people being offended by something you've said.
And non-crime hate incidents is basically if anyone, not someone who is, quote, the victim, if anyone thinks that what you have said is motivated by hatred, dislike of a particular ethnic, sexual, someone's trans. I mean, I commit a non-crime hate incident every single day by saying that trans women are not women. It's a statement of fact, but technically speaking, someone could say, well, I'm offended about it. Feel free to make. I'm actually interesting. In the wake of Alison Pearson, I talked to Alison about this. She's a very good friend of mine. When Alison Pearson at the Telegraph faced what she thought was a non-crime hate incident, turned out actually no, they actually wanted to arrest her and question her and then arrest her for an actual crime. But the way they spoke about it, when you listen to the tape, it's quite clear that why she thought it was a non-crime hate incident. It wasn't anything. It wasn't either, by the way, a tweet that she wrote. But I actually, like many people, have done a request to my local police force, the Metropolitan Police, I want to know, do I have a record of non-crime hate incidents that you've not even told me about? They are now how many weeks? I think 4 weeks now overdue with the legally required response time.
Wow.
They're supposed to reply.
Yes,
I thought Christmas, I'll leave it. Every week I say hello. They go, we've been inundated with requests. Well, maybe that tells you something. Yeah, exactly. But this idea that two-tier policing, people saying there's two-tier policing is extremism. Well, we've had a former Home Secretary, got current Shadow Justice Secretary, so Suella Braverman and Robert Jennery, got Nigel Farage, leader of Reform. We've got many other people saying, there's two-tier policing, two-tier justice. I believe there absolutely is. I think it's blatant and obvious to see. I don't know how anyone could possibly look at the facts and not see this, but that apparently is evidence of extremism, far-right extremism.
Well, then I'll be arrested because I think there is two-tier policing.
Prison's going to be a hoot. It's going to be all the best people.
Well, it is. It's going to be a little social group for us all. But it just. What happens to free speech in all of this? That goes out of the window, which is what the Labour government wants. But also, you can't hold an opinion now that goes against what the government believes because they're going to create a crime around it, so therefore they're just going to arrest us. Well, we don't have enough police, we don't have enough prison space. What are they going to do with the actual criminals that they're not arresting?
Well, they're going to let them out early because they need to get someone in who's written a hurty tweet. I mean, it's genuinely mad, isn't it?
Yeah.
What do you make of the Children's Commissioner, Rachel D'Souza? She has done a big report into the Southport rioters who were underage. And her view is that, look, most of them, and she spoke to a huge number of them who got charged, and some went to prison, basically, for throwing a stone and things. And the vast majority of them were not motivated by extremism. They went out on the streets. They don't have the police. They feel the police are the enemy, as a lot of people do. And hey, when people like me feel the police are the enemy, there's a bit of a problem, right? And they went on the streets and they basically, got caught up in what felt like a bit of fun at the time. And we know that's what happened, in the 2011 riots in London. And they weren't necessarily bad people. She said they never had a criminal record, a lot of them, and then they get caught up and they've gone to prison. And she says their records should be wiped. What do you think about that? I'm in two minds.
I was going to say, I really am in two minds.
You still made the wrong choices.
They did. They went out there and they knew what they were doing was wrong. If my child had done that, I would have come down on him like a ton of bricks. I don't need the police to do it for me. I'm quite capable of doing it myself. So what happened? In fact,
my child would be running to the police. Save me, save me.
Yeah. Safety and sanctuary in a police station away from me. So I'm in two minds because, yes, they've made the wrong decision, but also they're kids without any kind of record whatsoever. Yeah. Why do you want it sort of 13, 14?
But I mean, you do get your record. I think that, again, some of them is long enough that it won't be expunged. I think there really is an element, unless someone has committed sexual assault or robberies, I do think at 18 you should be allowed to start again. I do for that. But, again, I'd love to hear your thoughts on that as well from you. Let's also talk about amazing stats that have come in about 45 minutes ago. This is the latest Office for National Statistics stats on UK population projections. Now, let's bear in mind, they've always been wrong. And they've always been wrong in only one direction. They massively, massively underestimate the number of people who are going to be living in Britain at any one time. Bear in mind also, we've got like 1 million people, lowest estimate realistically, of illegal migrants living in this country. Bearing in mind that when European Union citizens were asked, could you want to sign up and after Brexit, and they thought that we had, I think, 3.5 million. Turns out we had 5.5 million. We didn't even know, and they were here legally, right? So just bear in mind, let this stat sink in. The UK population, according to the official figures, which always underestimate, is projected to reach 72.5 million by 2032. 2032 is 7 years away. It is really not far. That is up 5 million from where we were 2 and a bit years ago. 5 million. So in 10 years, from 2022 to 2032, it's predicted to go up by 5 million people. That is almost 5 Birminghams. It'll end up being probably 8 Birminghams because the projections are always wrong. And you can see even the projections from last year, they were predicting only 1 million more than that by 2036, so 4 years later. Basically, they're working on the basis there will be an average of 340,000 more people coming to the country every year than leaving the country. It's almost, by the way, that 5 million, almost entirely migration, because basically birth rate, death rate, going to be pretty much the same for the next few years because we've got an ageing population, but we have a lot of the baby boomer generation and there'll be more people dying, people are having fewer kids, blah, blah, blah. Basically, 5 million more people are going to come to this country. That's a conservative estimate. It will be wrong, it'll be more than that, and they're going to make their homes here. Where are they going to live? Where are we going to get the school places from? And the teachers, the nurses, the doctors? Where are they going to park their cars? Where are they going to find a place on a bus? What about the water supply for those extra 5 million people? Electricity supply, the gas supply, the sewage supply. Where is that coming from? Because I don't see anyone making any plans for that.
No, none whatsoever. And it makes the country larger than France for the first time ever. And if you look at France on a map and you look at the UK on a map,
France's territory, France's geography, I think, is 2.4 times bigger than the Britain.
Yeah, they are projected.
The British land.
Their projection is 70 million by 2032.
So we're going to have roughly the same population, but we're going to be in a much smaller country.
Absolutely, and you only have to look at them side by side, and you just think, how does that work? And it plainly it doesn't.
Better skiing and beaches. I'm just saying.
Do you want to swap? Do you want to head to France?
I'm just saying.
But it's enormous. Nobody's got a plan for it. Nope. Nobody has for at least the last 20 years.
We might build a 3rd runway at Heathrow. That'll help people arriving. I mean, genuinely, there is no plan. Your lot, just as bad.
I know
just
that.
as bad.
I know.
This lot, even how can they be worse than your lot? And yet I mean, let's have a round of applause. But genuinely, it's the fact that these stats they're like, just casually put out, these are just official stats.
Yeah.
And the fact that people are going, where are these people going to live? Rents, house prices go up all the time. You can't get a decent place at a school. Overcrowded classrooms. You can't get 7.5 million people on waiting lists at NHS. Another 5 million people turning up. Not a problem.
It's all right. Angela Rayner's going to build loads of houses.
Brilliant.
Ed Miliband's going to put windmills up. It's all fine. You know that.
It is genuinely insanity. What we're told is that we need people to do those jobs. Yeah, but those people also need services. Yeah, because they're all engineers, aren't they? They're all biophysicists. I mean, give me a break. Can we just talk about one other thing? I'm off on one today. Because I can't believe I live. This country is full of so many brilliant people. We have been responsible for the industrial. I mean, not me personally. I'm useless at any of this stuff. But we were responsible for the Industrial Revolution, for so much of spreading democracy around the world. Yeah, colonialism. Yeah, you're welcome. But we have done so many amazing things. Fighting the Nazis, freeing Europe. So much about human rights. So much about pushing so many important things. We have the most amazing cultural history. Everything we've done. So many clever people. We are at the forefront in terms of technical innovation and medical innovation in this country. We really are. And then they go off and make money in America, but a lot of it starts here. And we can't work out that if you have 5 million more people, you might need more homes and schools and more infrastructure, a new reservoir, a new nuclear power station, a gas power station. We can't. The people in charge, the people with firsts from Oxford and Cambridge, those people, they can't work this stuff out. That terrifies me.
It doesn't. It isn't going to get any better either, because they don't see what they're doing has the impact.
You know what they're doing right now? I mean, not that they're sensible enough to be listening to me, because they're listening to someone reading a book on Radio 4. That's what they're doing. But genuinely, they're thinking, I'm a right-wing bigot for saying everything I've said.
Yeah, they're arranging.
That's what they think. They think anyone pointing out literal facts is a bigot.
Don't you know they're arranging for the police to meet you after
non-crime hate incident.
Exactly, and get you off the streets.
My kettle is. I make terrible tea, but I make really southern weak tea. But my kettle is on at any time.
Come round for a nice
By the way, very
chat.
interesting, exciting development in my bag there from 1st of June last year. What's the date? 28th of January. CPS has now requested a victim impact statement. Someone who didn't own my bag has my bag. I'm really peed off about it. Yeah. I want that person to go to prison. There's your victim impact statement. January, they've asked for a victim impact statement.
They won't deal with it until June. It'll sit on somebody's desk.
I bother them. I bother the poor, lovely lady who's a police. I bother her every single week. You can just imagine. I've got another email from Julia. I'm not letting it go, folks. You may as well get on and prosecute. I'm serious. Deep sad. I just want to talk about one other thing. We're going to talk about that Chinese AI chatbot. Mainly because I want someone to explain to me what AI is, chatbot is. We're going to go full on Janet and John, primary school level. Of course, the primary school kids understand this stuff, don't they? We're going to talk about Trump banning trans troops. I do just want to talk, though, about the US border czar, Trump's US border czar, responding to the mad video put out by the Hollywood actress Selena Gomez. I've no idea what she's been in. She's like one of the most famous women on the planet. I wouldn't recognise her if she walked in now. But she's crying. Just this beautiful video over mass deportation starting. Trump said he was going to do it. He was voted in. He's got the mandate, and now he's doing it. Yeah. The deportations so far of criminal illegal migrants, no right to be in the States and have committed crimes in the States. Those people are being deported. She puts out a video crying. Turns out, didn't go down quite as well as she thought it would. But the border czar basically went, take it up with Congress.
Exactly. You want to change it, get elected and make the changes yourself. And this is what happens. They're happy to cry on camera, look ridiculous, sound ridiculous. Fans don't like it. They delete it very quickly.
Also, love, you know when you live in your beautiful Hollywood home with your security guards and you have your limo everywhere and you don't have to deal with criminal foreign migrants. Live a normal life like most people do and then have an opinion.